Bark. Heck. Bjork.
And I think, Headcanon, the other developers of Sonic Mania are actually working with the Taxman, who also was a popular Sonic modder back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, every one of them comes from a background that makes them, in a very funny way, which we're now very familiar with, vastly more qualified to handle the Sonic franchise than Sega is.
Then basically Dimps, or the guys who actually did most of the Sonic games for over the years.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's mostly because Sonic Mania was a project that was just a sort of, you guys can work on whatever the
You guys do this while we work on giving making a creative fighter for Sonic. And
people are really hard on Sonic Team, but it's really hard to make a decent game when Sega's telling you that you've got deadlines in less than a year, and they're shuffling your team around constantly.
That really does suck. Also, just for context here, Trinity is basically the Chiquita Banana of this world, in that they're a gigantic, affluent mega corporation that is super up on fucking heavy-ass imperialism. They actually, razed an entire region called Wakatu to the ground, kind of like the Chiquita Banana Company did, when they fund right-wing death squads in South America. So we're apparently going to infiltrate this, fucking... They even have a proper base, though, which is funny, because usually, corporations don't, actually own up to the fact that they own right-wing death squads, publicly, but apparently they even have a base with their name on it, which is strange. And apparently, after dressing up like a bunny and fucking around in a mass martial arts tournament, I'm apparently now super qualified for this level of espionage.
I really wish Final Fantasy VII was just the Shinra stuff, because that was the stuff that was the most interesting.
Mm-hmm. Fucking for sure.
I mean, part of it too, to be fair, part of it too is that I think a lot of people who have issues with Final Fantasy VII, in fairness, a lot of it is just the fact that it had a really piss poor translation, and people don't understand how much a bad translation can affect legibility and enjoyment.
Oh yeah,
because
that's a huge deal.
Because if you can't tell what the fuck's going on, you're not gonna enjoy the game.
And if every other line is especially with bad translation, really bad translation shit, if every other line is giving you a headache to try and decipher, good luck getting into the game.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in and a lot of it too is just stuff. A lot of stuff in Final Fantasy VII is just plain not properly explained.
Mm-hmm.
The idea, basically the concept behind Sephiroth and Jenova is that Jenova is basically like a creepy, crazy old god, and they're basically wearing Sephiroth as a meat puppet.
Yeah, I remember all that shit. This is can I just say, this is super goddamn real right now. I totally didn't expect all the gals who work here and in this little Gradius paramilitary group to be dude, our leader is kind of a douche and he's not great with women, and the shit he's asking you to do is not really cool. I didn't expect them to actually go there with this storyline. And all the girls being the smart ones and demonstrating real ass solidarity with one another is super cool to me. I guess I shouldn't be surprised after Acellus's ending had suddenly, we're super lesbians. It was basically Utena with vampires, at the very end there. And I was 100% here for that shit.
Utena the TV series or Utena the manga? Because
Utena the TV series. I've only seen the TV series.
Okay, because the TV series is far less gay than
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I need to read the manga.
You should see the movie. They fixed that right
gay.
up.
Yeah, the movie is about the same level of gay.
I remember the movie was super gay,
manga.
And that's the one I also saw with a friend of mine. Oh Jesus, dude, did we just let ourselves get drugged and kidnapped? Fucking hey, that's gross.
I only ever saw the movie because I could never find the manga, and I could never fourth manga. So basically, I was kind of SOL in that little land.
Really? You're still working for this motherfucker? Do you know that?
I thought I thought she was directing that to me, but without reading the manga, I was like, what?
No, this shit, like, this is super fucked up. Rufus, when do we get to kill Rufus? Fucking for real. That's super
Jeez.
not okay. Holy shit.
This
Yeah.
got dark. This got darker than
That got really fucked up.
Gee.
Oh my god. Yeah. That's super fucked up.
Fucking
Oh no.
Trinity base looking like something out of Serious Sam.
Yeah, a little bit.
I got sometime see if I can replay that game.
Oh,
It
just has-
no, one word commands and everything. This is real dehumanizing and vile. Shit.
Must be a real horn dog,
I hope
huh?
they didn't pat me down. Like, am I still just hiding those fucking guns on me?
Do I want to know where you're hiding those guns?
God, they dressed me up in this bullshit, so they must have, like, robbed me. And they didn't catch a whiff of how shady that was, that I came in, like, packing serious goddamn heat? Oh, no.
Oh boy. I'm not gonna like what I'm about to see, am I?
Dude, this is literally just
What
Orluge,
the-
but this is literally just
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
capitalist Orluge. This was the villain of a Celis scenario. Oh no, and there she is in the bottom right. What the fuck?
Oh jeez.
Celis, like, oh my god, what a fucking, like, hard-ass life she's lived. She escapes from, like, the vampire princess collector, and, like, gets picked up by this piece of shit?
This is basically that fucking club from Final Fantasy VII where you
Yeah,
have
a
to
little
pretend to be a girl.
There's a level like that?
Yeah, it was like one of
Yeah,
the
it's
first
like in
things in the
intro.
game.
Yeah, it was like, it was
Yeah.
before you
Huh.
even leave Midgar and get to the world map, yeah. It was like the
Which-
infamous scene that all the,
Wait, it's-
all the Dubros think is just hilarious.
Did I never even get to that point? Well, to be fair, I kind of played the game on the Vita. I got bored after like the first 2 fights. Like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, you didn't miss much. It's an overhyped game. It has Cowboy Bebop-itis.
Fun-
Yeah.
the fucking Midgar section is so good, and the rest of the game doesn't live up to it.
Yeah, it's
like-
really rough, isn't it?
It has too much. It tries to do too much, and it ends up not doing enough.
Mm-hmm. Like, it really should have just continued, like, the Midgar section. And it should have been, like, the first entry in the series to not be afraid to eschew the whole world map idea. Like, you could have actually given me a whole, like, that length or even near that length RPG like, within Midgar, and that would have been great.
Yeah, well, and even not even necessarily that, but at the very least, like just have the Shinra plot, and like I would have been satisfied. Like if it was just this gang of ex-soldiers and whatnot destroying this awful corporation that's ruining the planet, that would have been enough. But they put too much. They put too much in the stew.
What were some of the other plot lines? Just out of curiosity. Just like the closest thing to the game I know about is just the fact that I decided to watch Advent Children, which
You went from like hype ass anti-capitalist eco terrorists, which was cool shit, within the context of Midgar, to now ex super soldiers piloted by Eldritch terror thing that was product of or captured by one of the experiments, as an experiment by that corporation, etc. And it evolves into now you're just the plain old good guys against thing trying to end the world. Like it drops all of the really cool it drops the cool angle that it could have used, that like distinctly anti-capitalist eco-terrorist angle to make you the very bland and very plainly stated good guys against existential threat, as is like the standard for Final Fantasies.
Yeah, it tried to do the thing. It tried to do the thing where it's like, oh, you thought these guys were the real enemy? Well, the real enemy is even bigger than that, and then it ends up actually making the real enemy a lot smaller than that because Eldritch gods are something we've seen a million times before.
You got a fiend rod, huh? Huh.
Hey, speaking of eco-terrorists, how many people fucking remember that the first Rainbow Six was you fighting eco-terrorists?
was it eco?
Was it?
Yeah, you like have to defeat like these these radical peaceniks who steal like a fucking tanker, like an oil tanker.
Oh
It's
yeah,
fucking crazy.
That's cool shit. Also, that's something we didn't see in a Celsus scenario, is her, like, mystical change shit, because she's a half mystic, etc. As she undergoes the instant she uses one of her mystic things in a battle, and I had to completely throw out that mechanic, because I wanted to get the good ending, and I did. I didn't know the good ending was lesbian, so it was totally worth it. But now that it's not her, now that it's her plotline, yeah, when she gets, like, originally hit by a fucking carriage and captured by Orluge, like, after he saves her life by giving her his, like, vampire emperor blood, she makes, like, a friend with a dressmaker's apprentice, like, down in Rootville, Gina, and if you don't absorb any mystic abilities throughout the whole game, like, you don't use your mystic powers at all, you don't sway toward the vampire side or whatever, and you save Gina as a little optional objective in the last dungeon, you then get the full-on good ending. And I did both of those. But I had to, like, not use her mystic sword, boots, or gloves, and eschew all of the stat bonuses that come along with that.
Y'all ever watch Cutie Honey? R.E. Cutie Honey, excuse me?
I've heard a lot of good shit about it, but no.
Good is, I think, a little, like, it's one of those things that's, someone describing it to you makes it sound a lot better than it actually is, because usually when people describe it to you, they end up, leaving out all of the fan service parts. So it's real, like, creepy, like, it's real creepy about its main character, but it's a series about, what is, essentially Sailor Moon.
Nice.
But just one girl. There's no other senshi, and she is going around solving. She's like beating the bad guys, and there's a tough talking lady cop detective who's got she's got black hair and she's got a ponytail, and she doesn't like Utena because she's outside of the law and she's causing trouble. And the series finale is that they get married off screen and start a detective agency together, and it's real good.
Oh shit, that's hype.
It's real good.
That's amazing. Wait, Shade Rope restores non-max HP. Oh shit, what? Okay, so I never got to test the Shade Rope thing out, and this is one of the things in a Celsus scenario that I could have bought with her, by expending her maximum life points at the beginning of her run, which was a really interesting mechanic. I never got to test it out though, so I'm intrigued to see if it's any good. Fuck me. I had no idea that shit was gonna be there. I should put a mirror glass on. There you go.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, take your time there. This is a good girl squad.
Good girl squad.
It's so good.
The ugly one.
Oh fuck me! I remember Teen Girl Squad.
Teen Girl Squad was great.
I got my learner's permit. Learner's ointment. Fuck. That was some classic. Homestar Runner was pre YouTube, right? I'm not just imagining that.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh no. Yeah. It was just flat. Yeah. It was just a website that had Flash animations on it.
Fucking A.
And then they're still going.
Oh yeah, they're on YouTube now. They deserve more views than they've got. The medium leaving them behind really hurt them. All right.
People aren't into the. Well, yeah, and I think it's a bit weird too. Like, it's also partly like I think part of why Homestar Runner isn't as successful now is it's not cynical enough, which makes me sound like an oldie. But it is true that nowadays when people want absurdist humor, they want like Tim and Eric and whatnot, like stuff that's still absurdist, but it gives you a little wink and a nod when you watch it. Homestuck Runner is just weird for this.
You just said Homestuck Runner.
Nice. I'm fucking great. I'm totally in the zone.
Homestuck Runner is.
That would be something.
That would be a hell of a mashup, wouldn't it? Is there anything?
Yeah.
This
So-
was
so
this
wait,
is
what?
the cell where I was kept.
So
I'm
would it be like Bit Trip Runner meets something?
no, we were
Homestar
talking
and
about
Homestuck.
Homestar Runner.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'm sure someone's already
Collaboration.
drawn that.
They must have. If not, y'all know what you gotta do, Strem.
Yeah.
The rules of the land.
Wait, you already got some shit. Shade Rope, let me see what that does. Nope, never mind. Because I don't get to see it.
I'm just gonna say it.
Mhm.
A lot of these enemies look like Digimon.
Okay, let me tell you, the enemy variety in this game is amazing, and it's one of those places where and they totally do look like Digimon. It's one of the places where the lack of money and time really shines through, where they just, like, in a mad fucking fever dream rush, like, created, like, you know, fucking 150, 200 or whatever, like, enemies, like, in over the course of, like, one coffee break. And it's... It's amazing, like, both the variety and yet, like, complete blandness of them all. I fucking love it. They're all over the place, like, no coherent fucking design. A lot of them are, like, really bad renders, as you can kind of tell. It's so good. Like, some of them are sprites, and some of them are, like, just really badly done 3D renders.
I didn't think about it until, like, just now, but yeah, no, for real, these are just Digimon. These are just like level 1, like level 1 evolution Digimon.
Ooh, dodging.
Holy shit!
Nice. It's super goofy. And honestly, all the enemies at the beginning totally do look like that. The fucking starter Digimon. So my battle rank is still low.
Leave Palamon alone.
And that's another fun thing. If you weren't there for that, this game works. Its progression of difficulty has nothing to do with the areas you're in. It has entirely to do with the number of battles you fought, and after a certain point you go up a whole tier of enemy selection. So, like, the fewer battles you fight, the easier it stays, aside from boss battles. Which is really weird. Also, this is the only ability she's learned is dodge needles. Seriously? Amelia? Are you fucking serious? Learn to use guns. You've had guns for, like, hours now.
So does the game try to explain why there are weird cactuses and starfish with teeth, or is it just
Never.
Yeah, I would assume as much.
They would have to explain it for every single person's scenario. So, like, even if they had the time and money, it would be a lot of lore, like, world building for fucking nothing.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's charming in the sense that it's a lot. It's just like they felt. I'm sure they felt the fact that they didn't have to, because most people playing these games have played video games before and know that, oh, weird imps and fucking cactuses with eyeballs. That's what RPGs have, so we don't have to explain it because people will just not care.
That's true.
Which
That's true.
I think it's pretty interesting in the sense of, like,
to see that, like, assumption of
Yeah, like,
suspension of
base
disbelief, like,
assumption.
really stretched. Like, they're really testing it here.
just the base assumptions.
Yeah, of
like,
course this evil corporation has a
people-
gargoyle, a nature sprite, and a fucking living dancing cactus, all, like, as their, you know, paramilitary, right? Like, guarding their base. Of course they do.
And like, that's not something I there's no way that that's something you're ever gonna see in, like, in any sort of in any sort of modern game with a budget with a similar adjusted for inflation budget that this game has, because there's no way that people are gonna be like, the higher ups are gonna be like, just make whatever fucking enemies and that's good enough. Who cares?
You're basically expecting them to cut corners in the visual department, which oh jeez, the big AAA people usually emphasize that over everything else.
Yeah, they cut a lot of corners here. Oh, hey, you.
Castlevania is also ridiculously like that too, where none of the enemies are ever explained or justified. It's just like, of course Dracula has a Frankenstein monster roaming around.
I think they're totally explained and like justified by the very like construction of the setting and aesthetic. Like this is like monster in my pocket,